What an amazing conference championship week. Wow. I thought it was going to go 2 overtime games. Georgia went to overtime with Texas and won. And I thought Clemson and Southern Methodist would go to overtime too. But Clemson had that nice return, got a nice pass, set up a 55-yard field goal for the freshman kicker, and he is a Clemson legend now because Clemson went from way out of the playoff to a automatic bid. Will they get a bye? Will they be one of the top 4 conference champions coming up in the playoff committee, which is hours away now? I've gone through the resume ranking, and this is what the resume ranking says, and then I will give you my personal take on what the playoff should look like. And then I'll tell you what the committee is going to do in this. Wow. So the resume ranking has Oregon at number 1, of course, 13-0. They have quality wins up the butt, 5 of them. Boise State, Ohio State, Illinois, at Michigan, and now Penn State in the conference championship. They are the 1 seed as far as the resume ranking goes. So I'll tell you the resume ranking, and then I'll tell you where they'll be seated. And then I'll give you my power ranking, and I'll tell you where they would be seated. All right. Georgia's number 2. Conference champs, they're going to be the 2 seed. They have 6 quality wins. Clemson in a neutral site. At Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, and then Texas again in a neutral site in the conference championship game. My number 3 team in the resume ranking is Notre Dame. 11-1, no conference title game, but they beat Texas A&M on the road. They beat Louisville, Georgia Tech. They won versus Navy in a neutral site, and then they beat Army. So, and Army just won their conference title. So they are not going to be a top 4 seed, but they are going to be the 5 seed as far as the resume ranking goes. Now, Southern Methodist is still number 4 in the resume ranking. I know, it surprised me, even though they lost to Clemson. And Clemson is way down at number 20 now, after their win over SMU. Southern Methodist is 11-2 with 5 quality wins. TCU at Louisville, at Duke, Pitt at home, and Boston College. They would be the 6th seed if the resume ranking holds true. Ohio State would be number 5 and is number 5 in the resume ranking. They would be a 7 seed. 10-2 team. They beat Marshall, who won their conference. They beat Iowa. They beat Penn State on the road, and they beat Indiana. The 6th best resume is Arizona State, 11-2 in conference title winners over Iowa State. They also beat Kansas State on the road and BYU at home. They, I think, have the 3rd best resume as far as conference champions go. They would get the 3 seed if the resume ranking holds. Texas is number 7, 11-2 after their loss to Georgia in that title game. They beat Michigan on the road. They beat Florida, who came on strong at the end. They beat at Texas A&M at the end of the season. They would be the 8th seed. Number 8 in the resume ranking, you have BYU still, 10-2. They won at SMU. They beat Kansas State, and they won at Baylor. They would be the 9th seed as far as the resume ranking is concerned. And then Miami is 10-2. They would be they're the number 9 team in the resume ranking. They won at Florida. They beat Louisville and they beat Duke. They would be the 10 seed. Number 10 in the resume ranking is Boise State. After winning the Mountain West Championship, 12-1 with 2 quality wins, both versus UNLV. one on the road, and one in a neutral site for the title. They would be your 4 seed, the 4th highest rated in the resume ranking. 4th highest rated conference title winner. Number 11 in the resume ranking is Indiana, 11-1, but only 1 quality win, Michigan at home. They would be the 11 seed. And then Army, believe it or not, is the 12th team in the resume ranking after winning the American Conference Championship versus Tulane. They are 11-1. They would be the 12 seed. Now, let's just continue on with these resume rankings because it is important going into bowl season as well. Even if they don't make the playoff, how good is each individual team? Well, how good is their resume? Number 13 would be Tennessee. Number 14, Alabama. Number 15, Syracuse. 16, South Carolina. Number 17, Iowa State. Number 18, Penn State. Dropped way down to number 18. Number 19 is Louisville. Number 20 is Clemson. They moved way up after winning the ACC. Number 21 is Ole Miss, 22 Colorado, 23 Illinois, 24 Texas A&M, and Tulane from the American makes it 2 teams from that conference. So of those teams that aren't in the resume ranking, I have Tennessee in, I have Penn State in, and I have Clemson in, of course. So let's talk about my top 12 teams. Who do I think are the best? Oregon, of course, 13-0. They're going to get a bye in their first round. They're going to be ranked number 1. They're going to be a 1 seed. Georgia is going to be the 2 seed. I think that is a fact. Even though they're 11-2, they're going to get a first round bye. They beat my number 3 team in overtime. I think Texas is still the 3rd best team in the nation, but because they didn't win their conference title, they're gonna get the 5 seed. Notre Dame is number 4, the 4th best team, and you know I can't wait to see them play somebody like Alabama. So Notre Dame will get the 6th seed in my opinion, in my ranking, the power ranking. So I'll just tell you who the power ranking is, and then I'll tell you who they could play, what their seed will be. All right. Number 5 is SMU still for me. Listen, they barely lost to Clemson. They fought back. I think they would beat number 6, Ohio State. Number 7 is Tennessee. Number 8 is Boise State for me. Number 9, Penn State. Don't fall that far either. Listen, conference title losers, I told you this. They should not be rendered obsolete or kicked out of the playoff because they lost that conference championship game. They're still a very good team. It's an extra game. A team that is sitting idle should not surpass a team that lost their conference. All right. Penn State still number 9 for me. I never had them anywhere in the top 5, nowhere near it. But they proved me wrong a little bit. Drew Eller did do better than I thought he would, and their defense sucked like I thought it would. But Oregon's defense, you know, I know it's the conference title game, and you won by 8 points, and you covered the spread, but, man, how do you let Tyler Warren do that to you? Number 10 is Alabama for me. I think they're the 10th best team still. Listen, 9-3, but you heard their wins. Georgia, South Carolina, Missouri, and at LSU. I think they're the 10th best team in the nation. And South Carolina, I think, is the 11th best team in the nation, beating the likes of Texas A&M, Missouri, and they
having trouble connecting to the internet.
Clemson.
Check your Wi-Fi network connection.
Yeah. They beat Clemson on the road. So South Carolina's the 11th best team, in my opinion, and then the 12th best team is Indiana, in my opinion. Them are the teams that should get in because of the stupid ass rules that the committee and the powers that be in college football made up for this 12-team playoff, you're going to have some wonky seeding and some teams that don't deserve to be in, like Clemson, like Arizona State. Now, Arizona State blew the hell out of Iowa State. They're my 13th best team, and they're going to get a 4 seed. They're going to get a 4 seed in this playoff and get a bye. Clemson is going to get in because they won the ACC, and they will presume that better than the American winner in Army. Why is that? I don't know. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what the committee does. Is it going to be resume or eye test? Because you got to do either one of those. You got to pick a lane and go with it. And they haven't done that even with the 14 playoff in years past. So, but number 1, Oregon. That's gonna be the case. Georgia's gonna be number 2. I think Texas is in. I think Arizona State, Clemson are in. The 2 that suffer are South Carolina and Indiana, in my opinion. But the matchups for these games are gonna be electric. I think you have the 5 seed Texas in a home game versus Clemson. You have a 6 seed Notre Dame in the cold weather hosting Alabama. God, that'd be awesome. You'd have a 7 seed SMU hosting Penn State. And then you'd have Tennessee you'd have Tennessee going to number 8, Ohio State, in cold weather. So, who knows what the committee's going to do, but they can't miss. They can't miss. Someone's going to be pissed either way, so just put in the best teams. And I think, but they can't because you have this clause where the top 5 conference title winners are in, even though they're not part of the top 12 best teams in Arizona State and Clemson. So we'll see what they do. I'm going to fill out a bracket once it comes out. I know I'm just not making a whole lot of sense to you, but I'm rambling along. The teams that deserve it the most, their resumes, are Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Southern Methodist, Ohio State, Arizona State, Texas, BYU, Miami, Boise State, Indiana, and Army. I think 3 of those teams that went like this, they're going to be left out for Tennessee, Tennessee, Penn State, and Clemson. And that's what's going to happen. So, I don't know what the seeding's going to be like, but like I said, every game, I can't wait to see what the matchups are going to be and dissect them and go forward. But, wow, unprecedented territory here for the College Football Playoff Committee, headed by Ward Manuel. Just got a contract extension for the AD at Michigan. So, hopefully he makes the right decisions going forward. Thanks, everybody. Like the video. Who do you think deserves to be in the College Football Playoff? Let me know in the comments below. And hit the like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and have a great night. Wow, it's going to be awesome.